This week, an in-depth look into green beans coffee,
a personal story about a young girl who survived cancer,
a recap of our last week's football game,
and an insight into the Pride Display.
All here on the MWHS Wildcat News. Welcome back, Wildcats. I'm Miguel Paredes-Reyes.
And I'm Brooke Sliva.
Our first story this week features a coffee shop chain deeply grounded in supporting this nation's veterans. Green Beans Coffee has been serving this nation's military since 1996. Online editor-in-chief Caden Roth and entertainment editor Brenna Batchelder spilled the beans on this patriotic brewery.
Tucked away off of 168th and Harrison, Green Beans Coffee resides. While providing delicious coffee and baked goods, this cafe gives back in a noble way. Rooted in Saudi Arabia, Green Beans Coffee served our troops gourmet coffee while they served our country. Referred to as a little coffee shop in a container due to the use of shipping containers to hold coffee for the troops, these elements and more are kept as the cafe runs in Omaha.
Troops started traveling 45 minutes for coffee, and they asked, base commanders asked the brothers if they could open a similar coffee shop on base, so they opened up the first Green Beans Coffee in 1997 in Eskin Village in Saudi Arabia.
For John, this mission hits close to home.
I was deployed to a base called Jalalabad in Afghanistan, and one of these shipping containers showed up, and it was Green Beans Coffee, and it was the greatest thing in the world. It was like heaven. Internet, air conditioning, great coffee, and it just kind of stuck in the back of my head, and the more I learned about the company and how they give back to our veterans and the families of our fallen.
With their slogan displayed throughout the store, the company lives up to its motto, "Honor First, Coffee Second." This is seen through the combined efforts of the shop along with the community, with the fundraising for the Battlefield Cross, which currently has 13 flags surrounding it in honor of the 13 fallen soldiers from Afghanistan.
Knowing everything that we do for our community and for the military, I always tell my staff when they start working here, like, why this is more than just a coffee shop. And it's when you get military individuals in and out, and they look at you like, wow, is this the Green Beans from overseas? And you get to tell them that, yeah, we're the same thing, and then they tell you their stories of what it was like over there, but this was their escape and how they bonded with their friends. It really makes you realize you're doing a lot more than just making a cup of coffee every day.
As orders are taken, the community bonds over this independently owned coffee shop.
We're fun. We just have a good time. Like, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We work hard, but we do it while we're having a good time, and we try to just be there for each other. I mean, we really are. As cliche as it sounds when people are like, come be a part of our family, we really are a family, but slightly crazy.
Aside from the company's mission of supporting our troops, they provide to the community through their exceptional service and cafe items. Popular menu items include the variety of coffee, tartines, and baked goods. The customers of this cozy cafe know they are supporting our troops and other veterans when they enjoy their treats.
I am a veteran, and my husband's a veteran as well, and we want to support veterans in our community, so we literally live off 168th and Harrison, and we found this place, and it's our go-to place.
For many, coffee remains a staple in starting off people's day, and Green Bean Coffee customers know that they are also supporting a good cause with their cup of joe. This has been Brenna Batchelder
And Caden Roth
on the MWHS Wildcat News.
Speech and debate classes have had their first round of mock job interviews this past Wednesday. This experience is a great opportunity for students to practice preparing for actual job interviews that will help kickstart their career.
Cancer affects so many young kids and their families, but freshman Lily Dotson didn't let cancer get in the way of anything. Staff reporter Kushan Nijakaitis and I went to the Dotson house to tell you her story and how surviving cancer hasn't changed a thing about this outstanding girl.
September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. 1 in 285 children are diagnosed with cancer before their 20th birthday. For one strong girl, she was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia at the age of 5. Freshman Lily Dotson and her mother Susie Dotson tell us their story.
They took one look at her and saw that the bruises very much pointed to cancer and all of her symptoms. They did not have to even test her. So they told me on the spot that they thought it was cancer and I needed to bring her in. And my first thought was absolutely devastation, obviously, and you're just in disbelief. But I just knew that there was no time to have a meltdown, or you just kind of go in robotic mode of you need to do to save your daughter's life.
After over 900 consecutive days of chemotherapy, the Dotson family was told that Lily was going to survive cancer. Even after these rough 2.5 years of intense treatment, cancer will never fully be gone. Lily will continue to be tested yearly and has a 50% chance of secondary cancer. She has to protect her skin and watch what goes in and out of her body that would set her more vulnerable for a second cancer.
Some of it's just that people don't really understand you that much since you've been diagnosed with it. Even though you're cured, people don't understand what you've went through.
Susie continues to share Lily's story because they fight for the 43 new children diagnosed with cancer today. Childhood cancer is the #1 cause of death by disease in children. When Lily was diagnosed, only 4% of federal cancer research was allocated to children. Susie still goes out of her way to raise awareness and help other families in need.
So we had two $50,000 studies that we did in honor of Lily and other kids that were fighting cancer. And then we also do 2 blood drives every year. And then we also help in many other ways with many other nonprofits.
Throughout the long and hard process, Lily has kept a friend close. Freshman Lizzie McCann doesn't see her best friend any differently.
I don't think cancer really changed her. She's still super energetic and just amazing to be around. Well, when she was gone for most of the school year, it was kind of rough because she was the main friend I had. So I don't know, it just wasn't as fun without her.
Lily had over a dozen blood and platelet transfusions to save her. Chemo is a form of treatment, but Lily receiving blood was more important. Blood can't be manufactured, it can only be given. The blood that Lily received is the reason she is here today. If Lily was to say something to the people who gave her blood, she would say,
I would say thank you, and you've saved a life like mine.
This has been Brooke Sliva
and Christian Najikaitis
reporting for the MWHS Wildcat News. HOSA is back with their first blood drive of the year on Friday, September 24th. You can sign up with the link in the daily announcements. Students that are 16 years of age must have completed parent consent form to sign up, and all donors will receive a t-shirt and a coupon for a free haircut at Sports Clips.
Last Friday, the varsity football team competed against rival Millard South Patriots. The game ended in a 46-7 loss for the Wildcats as both sides of the ball struggled to keep up with the Patriots. Sophomore quarterback Brody Peterson was 6 for 7 with 46 passing yards, and junior running back Peyton Strong led the team with 70 rushing yards. Opinions editor Alexis Mahensky and I bring you the rest.
On Friday, September 10th, Millard West took part in the annual Battle of Q Street against the Millard South Patriots. Going into the game, the Patriots were still undefeated with a 2-0 record, led by senior Gage Stanger. In the first quarter, the Patriots scored first on a short run by senior running back Christian Nash to give them the advantage. Midway through the second quarter, Stanger would get his first touchdown pass to junior Grant Rankin. The Wildcats scored their first points with a state-tying record 99-yard kickoff return touchdown by sophomore Jackson Williams. Patriots would end off the half with another rushing touchdown by Stanger, and a trick play gives them the 2-point conversion.
We didn't switch up our game plan a lot. We just needed to execute, and we just had to keep repping what we were doing. And that was basically the message coming out of halftime. He didn't give a super long speech. It was just keep doing what we're doing and keep pounding the football.
The second half was all Millard South. The offense scored touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and the defense had multiple sacks and stopped the run game for the Wildcats. The final score was 46-7, and the Patriots claimed Q Street for the second year in a row.
After the game, we were just talking about how our preparation wasn't that good this week, how we needed to be more focused, needed to get our heads more into the game, and needed to trust each other more and just everyone do their job.
The Wildcats will have a chance to redeem themselves this Friday against the Kearney Bearcats at Buell.
Specifically when it comes to Kearney, I think you're going to see a few different players. I think you're going to see some guys in some new positions potentially. We're going to try and take advantage of the talent that we have. So defensively, I think specifically Jackson Cahoy could make a difference. Offensively, we got to get the ball to Petey, and we got to get the ball to Jackson Williams.
For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Miguel Paredes-Reyes and Alexis Bahensky.
The Justice and Diversity League kicks off their year with their first big project, working on the pride display you may have seen in the front of the library. The display includes multiple flags representing the different gender identities and sexualities, as well as prominent figures in the LGBTQ plus community. Staff reporters Sadie Smith and Avery Looney talked to some of the members for more details. On Wednesday, September 8th, the Justice and Diversity League put up a display to shine light on the LGBTQ+ community. The display showcases flags that correspond with different sexualities and genders, as well as information about the community. The club wanted to ensure that all students at Millard West felt represented and safe.
Our display really is about two things, about education and celebration. And so we put up our pride flag. We described what it means, the colors. We put up all of our myriad flags from different ways of being.
The display features over 25 different pride flags, as well as information about each one. Under these flags are examples of pop culture icons that are a part of the LGBTQ+ community. Some of these icons include Freddie Mercury, JoJo Siwa, Madonna, and Elton John. There is also a QR code that will lead you to a Google Doc that explains what pronouns are and why they are important. This display's eye-catching visuals have grabbed the attention of many people at Millard West.
I've had teachers in the hall. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm really glad to be informed. And so the informational part is important.
Justice and Diversity League puts up many displays year-round to educate people about different communities at Millard West.
I joined Justice and Diversity League because I saw posters about it last year, and so I wanted to join it to learn about and educate people about all the different things that we talk about in the club.
With every display, the club members' goal is to make every student feel included.
I think that everybody should be equal, and I think that it's really good to support that, and I think it's good to inform people on the different problems and just topics that we have about the community.
It's been a week since the display was put up, and it has already had a large impact on students and staff members.
It's only been up now for like a week, and it's already had a major effect, because when we came in, there were groups of students that were standing there like, hey, that's me. That, you know, they were acknowledging, they were recognizing that somebody had finally said, hey, that's you, that's normal.
The club has already seen the immense impact the display has made. It has made many students that are a part of the LGBTQ+ community feel seen. Justice and Diversity League has made it a priority that all students feel represented.
We needed this, you know, and for students to see themselves represented, no matter what we're talking about, if we're talking about gender and sexuality or race or religion, whatever it might be, to have someone be validated is like immeasurable. You can't really quantify how important that is to build an inclusive school.
Justice and Diversity League has made it a priority to make your student at West feel welcome. If you are interested in joining, the club meets every Tuesday in room 243. This has been
Sadie Smith
and Avery Looney reporting for the MWHS Wildcat News. Another quick reminder before we go. Senior pictures and tributes must be turned in by November 1st. Check the daily announcements for more information.
Make sure you follow us on our social media pages and check out the rest of our content on our online website. For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Miguel Paredes Reyes
and Brooke Sliva. Have a great weekend, Wildcats.